I was really debating on watching this in 3D because I already watched it on the Monday Movie Mystery. But I said, you know what? I have time before my volleyball game. We lost the volleyball game, so I'm very upset about that. But the 3D and the movie itself, does it get better or worse on the second watch? And how was the 3D? Let's find out. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing Jurassic World Rebirth 3D. Like I said, I'm not going to really rehash this movie, but it is 34 years after the original, and something happened 17 years before that, and here we are today to get blood samples from live dinosaurs to get coronary heart disease figured out. And, of course, shenanigans ensues, consciences grow in this movie, and 3D effects are in this movie. So, 3D effects, when I saw it originally without 3D, it was in 2D, I was like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of 3D effects, and I was correct. I would say 0 pop-outs. 0, zilch, nada. I thought there could be maybe one, or they would try, maybe with the flying pterodactyl, if you want to put it that way, with the beak coming at you. Nothing like that. Falling off cliffs, nothing like that. So do not expect a single pop-out effect. For the depth effects, yes, it's a little bit more predominant, especially in the scene where they're crawling down the mountain or climbing down the mountain, if you want to put it that way, or other effects to that nature, where they're trying to do that, the scene when they're on the boat. Yeah, there's some pop-out effects there, but it was never really like, oh, I'm noticing something drastic in this movie. Or actually, the one where it's like the most pop-out-ish was when the boyfriend was peeing in the forest and you saw the raptors behind him. That was kind of a good effect, but that, what you could tell, was a lot more green screeny. So maybe that's why that looked that way. But personally, just my personal experience, I saw this like in a like a DXL theater. It's not needed. $5 surcharge just isn't worth it. I think you would have the same experience watching this 2D as in 3D. And I think a lot of other people were feeling the same way, because a guy to my right of me, every like 12 minutes, he was like, trying to see if it was actually a 3D effect or taking the glasses would be a big difference. And personally, like I said, yeah, you could see some depth effects, but it just wasn't worth the price of admission. So now let's talk about the movie and the spoilers now, because like I said, I put this review out, like, I think the original one, like 10-ish days ago. Okay, I could be lying about that, the 30th, so like 5 days ago. Okay, we're talking about spoilers of how just this movie actually is worse the second time around. And this goes to the writing and the family character. Like, if we focus on Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, that band of misfits, even though they're not really misfits, are of mercenaries trying to get this blood for this pharmaceutical company, I think that would have been a lot better. But we're trying to add this comic relief boyfriend, this annoying older daughter, this other younger girl who's trying to connect with a dinosaur. It just didn't work, in my opinion. The whole family storyline, the dad was the only one where I was like, oh, you're actually a good actor, because he was also in Lincoln Lawyer and a lot of other stuff. The Lincoln Lawyer for the Netflix one of the season, not the Matthew McConaughey one. But it was just, he was the only one that I was like kind of actually rooting for. Okay, so we are going to talk about kind of not scene by scene, but just why I thought this movie was worse in general. So we're opening up with something that happened 17 years later. And the computers they are using almost feels like it's the same technology they were using in 1993 for the original Jurassic Park. Yes, of course, there's going to be a little bit of updates, but you're half the time from Jurassic World, and the computer graphics and things are kind of looking the same way. I don't know, that kind of got me. Snickers. So that is why everything just went downhill, because of a Snickers wrapper? Like, really? Like, grab a Snickers? Like, that's really what it is? And also, like, the employee is that stupid to, let the wrapper just fly around in his facility? Really? Also, how did the shield come down? he eats the candy bar in the one scene. The next scene, the shield's perfectly there. I'm not seeing anything like it's more of a helmet. And so the only thing he was missing was the shield part. So where did that shield come from? So if we were saying, oh, it slides down, that technology in this 17 years ago does not correlate with the computers. It's sliding down helmet like that, unless they're saying it's more like a motorcycle helmet, sure. But there's no like, where was the plastic piece? Absolutely nowhere. So Snickers bar, whatever, gone. So now we are in New York, present day, where there's a dinosaur dying on the streets of New York. How it got out of New York. Not shocked that it got out of New York, because New York's a shithole now. And you're telling me there's a zoo big enough in New York to even hold this dinosaur? Like, it would make more sense if you're like in the middle of Texas or middle of the Midwest. But there's no way this dinosaurs or all these dinosaurs would be in like New York. I just don't believe that part. Okay, whatever. So now we're meeting this professor who's really down on his luck and very sad because people don't care about dinosaurs anymore. And we need him to go and say, this is this dinosaur, this is this dinosaur, and this is that dinosaur. Which, at a point, do you? Because you have books, you have, whatchamacallit, you have, like, okay, the one in the water you have a tracker for, so you don't need them for that. The second one's a big herbivore in the middle of the island, which you just need a map, so you just need that. The third one's a velociraptor. You just look at one in the sky. So what's the professor or this museum guy even needed? And his comic relief elements, it's not his fault, Jonathan Bailey's. It's the writers of the Altoids. Like, him chewing the Altoids in the museum. Like, I don't know what that was supposed to do or who thought that was actually funny. Like, that just didn't work. Okay, so now we're there. Now we're going to the Mahershala Ali's character. And that's fine. When he's on screen, there's nothing. So when they're trying to finagle the pharmaceutical company, yeah, that was kind of funny here and there. No issues with that scene of getting that band together before they go on their boat ride. And then we are going to this family, like I said, with the boyfriend and the daughters and the dad. My God, the boyfriend's character, he tries to be funny. He has maybe one-liner that's good, but you gave him such a horrific start to hate him and other dialogue pieces throughout the movie to even hate him even more, that it's hard for me to even root for him. And the same with the daughter. Like, he's like, oh, you don't see what I see of him. What do you see? Please tell me, what do you see in him? Because, yeah, a guy jumping in to save her, yes, that is heroic events. But you got to give me more about what he's done in the past to make her feel like, oh, he is the one I want to marry. Is it the bad boy feeling? Maybe. But my God, this is like the stoner bad boy feeling. So it's even freaking worse. Okay, so their boat gets turned upside down. And they're like, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Okay, so the other boat hears it. But they're 2 miles away from the island, right? Are 2 miles away from the island and very close to the sea monsters. But they're 27 miles away from the boat that is capsized. Little did you know, the more you think about it, if they decided to just get the blood now and turn around, none of this would have been happening. The girl wouldn't be complaining about getting thrown in the boat. So when you think about it, they would still have a boat. I'm going to assume that. Of course, things could have occurred. But if they just stuck with the plan to get the main monster or the water monster done now, maybe the other family would have been safe. Who knows? But then we wouldn't have the colossal, mix-up of them being on the boat. And then when this family's on a boat, the boyfriend, the daughters are ungrateful motherfuckers. I'm sorry. Right when they're on the boat, like, this is not your boat. They saved you. They have a mission. Who are you? Who are you to be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, this is not your boat. They helped you. Get in the corner. Get in the corner and sit down. You have no jurisdiction on this boat. But I guess the millennial thing where they have to be involved. Okay. And then the big plot point is, the main guy, or one of the main guys that's in it, famous actor, he's the bad guy in Deadpool, he dies pretty damn quick. But you're thinking, okay, so the dinosaur has to go up on the boat to kill him, but you have both daughters basically hanging off the boat, and none of these dinosaurs can eat them, but they eat the guy that's truly halfway already on the boat, but doesn't get the people that are hanging off the boat, the children. Sure, why not? Okay, and then the main thing is the main daughter, the dad goes, go to the radio, which sure, she automatically knows where the radio is. So she just got on the boat, but she knows exactly where the radio is to call in Mayday. Okay, sure. But then him, the girl, and then the pharmaceutical guy kind of get in a scuffle where she's like, I'm calling Mayday. He's like, please don't do it. No, who do you think you are? Her attitude throughout this movie, I wanted to fucking punch her. The second time, it is very much predominantly oh my God, you're annoying. You are very annoying. And then she pushes him. And that makes her off balance. But it's his fault for not trying to save her. But sure, he could have maybe looked at it and been like, huh. He did have a little scuffle in his mouth. But she pushed him. And it was not his fault. He did not push her. She did the push. I've seen this twice. Maybe I missed a kick or something, but it was mostly her pushing him off, and that made her off balance. So her thinking it is all his fault is a fucking lie. It could be maybe a 70-30 thing, but no. Saying you're homicidal and he has a gun, oh my God, she was annoying. So annoying. Okay, so she falls in. Boyfriend goes after her. The other two family members fall in. And here's the thing, right? So if the big dinosaur's going after the big boat, try to go to the shallow area, why aren't these other spiky dinosaurs going after the people that are already in the water? You would assume that they would see the splashes or vibrations. At least one of the family members would have died, but they don't. Sure, but they've somehow perfectly swim to this concave cove. Whatever. Okay, now we're at a point in the movie where we're kind of splitting off between family storyline, mercenary pharmaceutical storyline, families. So we're going back and forth until the meet up point at the main facility at a gas station. All right, so between going back and forth, the family storyline is mostly walking through the woods. No action's really happening. They're meeting Dolores, a small dinosaur, how does this dinosaur always find its way to this family, even at the gas station, even before the TRex scene, because the little girl's like, go away, the TRex is coming, which they're very opposite ends of the spectrum now, where they crossed the river, the little dinosaur didn't, but then when we're at the gas station, the little Dolores dinosaur is randomly there. Okay, just the writing in this movie is so all over the place. Okay, so the family storyline is mostly them walking in the woods until you get to the TRex scene. And yes, you can say that's a decent scene in general. Again, the older daughter, not the smartest character whatsoever, but we're going down the river. And the second time, it's actually a lot less. It's not as long as I remember. I thought it was longer. But I would assume that a T-Rex's teeth would pop the raft. That's all I'm going to say. I would assume the T-Rex's teeth would pop the raft or put a little puncture hole in it. And how they get the raft again is so perfect, because how would it get sucked in? Anyway, any hoodoo-magoo, the last storyline was mostly comic relief of the boyfriend, the family trying to get together. Oh. Don't forget this. Before he goes to pee, the dad is talking to him to be like, you know what? Blah, blah, blah. You jumped over a tree first, and I heard you, right? Okay. So now you're going to go pee, and I'm going to sleep. Not even 5 seconds later, the little daughter wakes up because of this dinosaur, and they're making sound effects. Like the trees are moving, the brush is moving, she's talking. So you're telling me the dad literally was out fucking cold within 5 seconds? There's no way. there's no way he was out cold within the first 5 seconds of the dinosaur coming. So, first off, yeah, like I said, the boyfriend jumps over the tree. He's awake. He's wide awake. But then 5 seconds later, he's like he took goddamn tranquilizer. Horse tranquilizer. Apparently, it was part of this scene to fall asleep. Okay, but that is mostly the family storyline. Is Dolores whitewater rafting to get to the thing. The other storyline is to get the other 2 vials of blood, and this is where we get some scenes where the pharmaceutical guy finds a gun in a helicopter above. So y'all telling me that these mercenaries, and they're like, they're around, they're looking everywhere, don't see a fucking helicopter in the sky. Don't know? Sure, and the gun. Okay. So you're also telling me with this gun that the bullets, the mechanism of the gun, how long has this helicopter been there? There's no rusted parts in this humid, wet area. I'm sorry, there would be rust on this gun. It would barely be able to slide. It would not be a working condition gun. And of course, with movies with guns nowadays, there is no casings or shells coming out of the gun. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's very freaking frustrating. Okay, so you have that scene of, that. Of course, then we try to do fan service, which there's a lot of fan service movie, especially with first in the beginning where it's like objects are not as far away what you appear, what the mirrors say. The banner coming down. This scene of meeting the dinosaurs the first time. The ending scene with like the main bad guy driving a vehicle, just like the first one with Wayne Knight driving the vehicle. It's just so many things where they try to be like, oh, this is like the first one. This is like the first one. This is like the first one. And there's so many of them throughout the film. Like, we know Steven Spielberg made a movie in 1993. We know. Okay, so the most baffling one, okay, sure, they're going through the field and like, oh yeah, but the velociraptors are very high up. There's no way it's that high up, and they got up there that quickly. Freaking possible. But then all the shenanigans ensues of finding the egg and the ropes dropping, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so that battle sequence happens. 3 things in this battle sequence that makes no freaking sense. 1, they find stairs. Sure. So you're telling me you can never find stairs coming back? Whatever. Okay, fine. Stairs, whatever. 2, Jonathan Bailey would be dead. I mean, come on now. I am sick and tired of, I'm going to hit every tree branch or tree leaf and then randomly get to the water and be perfectly fine. Didn't even lose my glasses. Your glasses are still on your face from falling in the water, falling from that high up, and hitting every leaf. The only reason I say it is because I'm a glasses wearer, and we went on a cruise, and my brother's a glasses wearer, and he lost his sunglasses in the water, just going down a slide into the ocean. So, nah. 3, the rope for Scarlett Johansson, actually there's 4 things. The rope for Scarlett Johansson's thing coming all the way down, you never had that much rope. I'm sorry, you never had that much rope from where Mahershala was holding onto the rope to that going down. Which, by the way, wasn't there 3 ropes? And if you watch the scene, there's a majority of 2 ropes the whole time. You have the French dude, you have Jonathan Bailey, you have Scarlett Johansson, but majority of that scene, there's only 2 ropes, even going down the first time. So consistency errors on that level. You might think I'm nitpicking, but I'm sorry. There's a lot of things in this movie where they just try to do fan service and do like, scene, and they're not really paying attention to the details occurring. Now we are finally at the gas station. And this is where, of course, the girl's like, I'm homicidal, and he has a gun, and things like that, where you're like, yo, lady, like, just let's think about it bigly, if you want to put it that way. And then, of course, the fan service. This is the biggest fan service of having this gas station feel like the cafeteria scene in the first one. Not as good at all. I mean, they tried, but the problem with it is they go CGI here, and at least with the Jurassic World, you feel the dinosaurs. You feel it in this movie, or at least in the original one. Of course, tries to do fan service. Again, the gun scene, whatever. They finally get to the helicopter pad. Helicopter doesn't make it because, of course, it doesn't. The boat works. Everyone is fine and dandy. So when you look at this movie, Scarlett Johansson survives. Mahershala Ali survives. Jonathan Bailey survives. All family members survive. So every single main character in this movie survives. I mean, you could kind of say the same way with Jurassic Park with the 3 main one and the 2 children, but that was only 5, and then the main doctor. But here, like, I felt like, whatever. I know you can't have kids dying, but at least have the boyfriend die or something. Come on now. Like, he was getting fucking annoying. So yes, the more you look at this movie, and I probably missed a lot more things where I was like, what? Because it was kind of a packed theater. And this is where I'm like, damn, I wasn't expecting to be this packed. But like I said, I think a lot of people are seeing this Wednesday, Thursday. Friday will be kind of a lull for movies in general. And then Saturday, Sunday, I'll be more intrigued about how it goes and how the word of mouth for this movie is. Because like I said, it did 30.5 million Wednesday. I don't think the numbers for Thursday came out because this is Friday morning when I'm making this video. But overall, Jurassic World Rebirth 3D is actually kind of worse the second time. However, I still can't get past the 5th movie clone scene and auctioning off dinosaurs. Atrocious. I honestly think the 5th one is worse than Dominion. And the funny thing about the 5th one is J.A. Barea, or I know I say his name wrong, fantastic director. I mean, every time he's doing humanistic storylines, I love it. I know they're trying to do like a horror aspect of it, but it didn't work for me. But still, that's the worst one. Fallen Kingdom or something, I really hated that one. But this one, like I said, it's serviceable to the fans. But I think when people are going to leave it, they're going to be like, ah. So Jurassic World Rebirth 3D, second time watching it, will receive a 2.5 and a 5 with Futon, which equals at 50%. Like I said, watching this the second time, you see a lot more of the glaring flaws, in my opinion. Okay, so critics a 51% now with 241. Audience score, now we have it, a 72%. So this is very interesting because audience scores are usually very forgiving when it comes to Hollywood blockbusters in the summer. So let me just look at Jurassic World real quick. So the first Jurassic World was a 78 with the audience score. Fallen Kingdom was a 48. Dominion was a 77. So I kind of agree with that, where the 5th one was just atrocious. It seems like I'm not the only one. But like I said, Dominion was a 77. Jurassic World was a 78. And then now we're at Rebirth is a 72. So it is lower than that as well. So, yeah, there you go. Like I said, I'm very curious. I still have it under 75 for the last 3 days. I could be wrong, but that's what my gut feeling was telling me. So there we go. We have the 51 and a 72 in my 50. Chase out here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know these Bluetontopia. You Blue Futonians. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. I don't care if you watch this today, tomorrow, a week from now, a month, and a year from now. I love every single freaking one of you. Peace and love. Peace and love. And you know what? Yeah. I mean, I am, the word of mouth, I'm very curious on. Oh yeah, 3D. No need to spend the extra surcharge. Seriously on this one.